So there was no apprehension about, coming to a different country, a different culture, and making a film on different sensibilities, because it caters to that.
Here's the thing. I've always been really interested in the world, and when I did The Mask, I was honored, and it blew my mind that this crazy silliness that I'm almost ashamed that I like is liked in all these different cultures.
Yeah.
I finished the editing without dialogue. I wanted to see, could I make an international film?
Okay.
Could we make the comedy so physical? And the reaction was so terrific, I realized I'm right. I'm not just naive, I'm not just optimistic. We're all the same humanity. We're all the same humanity.
Absolutely.
And as I watch the news and feel helpless about nasty, the difficult side of the world,
yes.
Obviously.
Chuck will end up crying, I promise you this. When he talks about this, he's in tears.
Don't tell them.
Jeez. Like if you think he's like
I'm as macho as Digit.
Yeah. He's very, that's what makes you cry.
Yeah.
He's like,
I choke up.
He talks about elephants and he's like,
but if I can
come on.
if I can cast movies and tell stories with different cultures, different role models in different cultures, I believe this is a picture that has global appeal. While it's an Indian story, the going back to nature, going back home, going back to family, and the empathy for the elephants that for me represent all of nature. We're losing our connection with nature. We're losing our village, by the way. Your village is now your social media, when it used to be the fun of playing cards at night. People up the block, and the really interesting, spiritually positive feeling that brings. So for me, his character returns from being a successful vet in Mumbai to his family and his roots and the elephant he grew up with. That's a great story, and I think we capture the spirit of it.
Yeah, that's a human emotion.
That's universal.
Yeah,
that's universal. So I hope to bring that to the global market that knows my work. But number one is the Indian audience. I got to do right by them.
Yeah. And who are you targeting? It's a kids' film, right? You want to target it for the kids.
I don't know. The word target sounds like I'm going to shoot an arrow at the audience. I invite them in. I'm inviting everybody in. That's a good Nobody's the target.
Yeah. The man. You should have asked this question.
Not anymore, no.
You'll have Chuck in your head all the time.
Look, if there's love in the movie, and it's not corny because it's earned, and there's some spiritual truth, it's going to attract all kinds of things. You can bring your kids to this movie. They're going to have the dream of the jungle that I had when I was a kid. And you have for the adults, a wonderful passionate adventure movie. And the kinetic action that he brings. Action is character. The critics that put down action movies or comedy, they're crazy, because there's more Shakespeare in a classic Bruce Lee moment, where his life is at stake and you totally believe it. That is character as well.
I think that's a very good way to put it.
It's not just it has to be boring, therefore it's acting. No.
It can be anywhere. With it, you know this because you've been familiar with the Indian film industry here. I'm sure you've done your research. That films based on animals, or especially elephants, we've seen it, but we've seen it, I think, 4 decades ago. Do you think the Indian audience right now is again, accepting of this genre that you are trying to revive, basically?
There's no such thing as again accepting it. They've been waiting and they're ready for it. This is the right time. We've not had it for 40 years. Why? We just don't have any idea. Why are we making it right now? We're just lucky. So we are ready. We've been waiting for it.
Mr. Rasul, when you break these barriers to make a film somewhere else from where your comfort level lies, you need a very strong partner, somebody who gets your sensibility, somebody who gets your vision. How did you find that in Chennai?
My partner in filmmaking? I had a team that blew my mind. It starts with our producers, and Pretty called me out of nowhere because I'd been to India before and I was comfortable with global stories and global style of movie. And as soon as I saw it was about elephants, and I said, can I use real elephants? And she said, well, yes, we're just developing it. I was in, so really, she was the number 1 in my team, he was the number 2. And our relationship, I couldn't do anything I'm doing without him, because I cast off, it's true, there is such a thing as chemistry. It's real, it's not hype. So I've got a cast around him, even Akshay, who was his best friend in the village. When I look at the film, I'm very excited. Argaja, who was his master. I mean, I find the humor in all these characters, but when you see the film, you tell me what you think. I mean,
For sure.
you know, so that's my team. I get as an artist. I hate to use that word; it sounds very snobby or something. But for me, working with artists from other cultures makes me a better artist. So I'm not apprehensive. If they responding to the same story I respond to, we're all going to make each other better artists.
Okay. Finally, the film is coming out on March 29th now. What do you want the audience to take back when they see it in the theaters?
Mostly to be entertained. My first job here is to have happy audiences coming out saying, we had an experience that reminds us we're human. We had an experience that reminds us about our love for animals. And we had an experience I can take my son and daughter to, and we're all going to talk about it at home. You know. So I think that, I guess that's just joy. I mean, I want to entertain them, and I want to inspire something that is at all of our roots. You know. And number two, I want to start a conversation. The people that see documentaries about the crisis with elephants already are not going to buy ivory. They're already, you know, but people who come to be entertained might walk away saying, if I grew up with an elephant, I'd be extremely upset about one elephant being killed for the ivory.
Right.
You know, so through his performance and through the spirit of the elephants we used, two of them are characters in the movie. They have names because they're very important characters in the movie, and he made that come to life for us. So that's the other thing I'd like to come away with is those are spirited animals. They're social animals. We didn't want trained elephants. We have socialized elephants. We use safety protocols, but their behavior is their personalities come out. Bola has his real herd. We shot only in their home. That's all. The special effects I used were to make it look like night when we shot it day, to make it look like there was an adventure when there was nothing but comfortable elephants in their own territory. That big last about my special effects. The elephants were real. Everything around them, you know. I played Beethoven in the shot where you are at the end, where your arms are up. The drones, the elephants would look at the drones, so I played Beethoven on big speakers. And it worked. The elephants quite liked it.
Really scared the drones flying, right? So they're wary of them.
They're aware.
Of that idea. We've got speakers in the middle of the jungle.
Bring me Beethoven. It actually worked. It was really cool.
But is it so? You said that you didn't work with trained elephants. So isn't it more challenging? To
Look, there are wild elephants that I wouldn't touch. We respect the elephants, right? They're socialized. I have to hand it to my producers because at the beginning of this I said, number one, I want to be vigilant and see, you know, what's happening here. And I got very excited. Number two is I'm going to do research and see can it safely be done. Number one, I can't do a movie supporting elephants and empathy towards elephants if I don't have happy elephants in a beautiful, you know, the best, you know, realistically the best environment for them. We went to a conservation center in Thailand, so my producers were nice enough to send our whole crew, you know, over to Thailand for all the elephant stuff, and I can create the illusions that our Mumbai work and, you know, the elephants all went together. So, you know, that was the main reason.
With coming back to the question, what do you want the audience to take back on 29th March?
What I want is, I think that's what should be is, Chuck and I were on the set one day and we were talking about the fact that if we don't make movies like this, in 15 years, the elephants would be like the dinosaur. People will just say that, oh, you know, you worked with an elephant, how cool would that be?
And that's a very scary reality. You know, we hit the positive side, which is the relationship between this character and the elephants, and the relationship that I think is natural, we all wish we had with the elephants. We hit the positive side, but the facts will come out and be part of the conversation after that.
So I hope this is what people come out with. They just realize that, and the way we've spoken about it is not really preachy. It's just
that's very important.
Like a story in the house.
We let the audience discover it, and again, I go back to the warmth of my characters, a great adventure story, great action, comedy, and then they can investigate later, you know, what they think. I think the simplest thing is I call it a ripple in the pond, a small thing. Maybe they won't buy an ivory chess set. You know, maybe
that's true.
Maybe just a small thought. And the other larger issue, which is as we expand, the elephants are losing their territory. To be thoughtful, you know, just send a little. That's the only message. Think about it. Did you like Bola? Think about the natural species of all these animals.
Great, excellent. Thank you so much for a wonderful interview.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you guys.
This was fun.
Thank you.